Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. I know it's been a little bit of some time since I've posted. I promise I haven't forgotten you guys. There's just been a lot of stuff going on, and I wasn't able to devote too much time to doing content and making stuff outside of just playing the game. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about how janky and messed up the skybox is in Ashes of Creation. No, I'm just kidding, guys. You guys know me. I've been picking on the skybox since the start of Alpha. But we're going to talk about my current experience in Alpha 2 testing of Ashes of Creation, the next highly anticipated MMO, and what has been happening since the last video. So, like I said, I haven't been putting out content as I normally would around Ashes or other games, just for the mere fact that I've been busy with other things outside of gaming and content creation. That being said, I have been playing Ashes of Creation fairly regularly. I've been streaming it. I've been mainly playing it off stream and just gathering data and information and stuff like that and providing feedback where I can. I really dove into just testing the game, so to speak, and testing systems and enjoying the game and seeing how things are progressing. As you guys can see, there are still issues with visuals within the game. Lighting definitely needs to get addressed. On multiple different occasions. You have this weird red hue in the setting of the sun here as we approach dusk and evening. There are also visual bugs when it gets light to dark outside, where your entire screen gets entirely black and you can't see anything in the game. So these are visual bugs that have been present since the start of Alpha 2. They're probably a very low priority item for Intrepid and the team to get a fix in. There are obviously other more pressing matters on their plate. But still something that takes away from immersion and just is an annoyance at times, especially when everything gets super dark. I've been working on professions a lot. I have, I think, 3 or 4 professions at Journeyman or close to the next level, which doesn't exist yet in the game, right? Currently, you can only go up to Journeyman in any kind of crafting, processing, gathering. I have 3 or 4 of them, like I said, and 2 of them are animal husbandry and hunting. As you guys can see here, I'm hunting an obsidian stallion, and we're going to go turn it into a mount eventually back at town. I have been exploring the crafting side of the game, and when I say crafting, I'm referring to gathering, processing, and crafting. The one thing that Intrepid and Ashes of Creation does differently is, when you normally say crafting in a game, it's normally just a linear kind of thing. Everybody crafts, everybody does this, right? But in Ashes of Creation, there's crafting, there's processing, and then there's gathering, and each one you can specialize in and take up to Grandmaster, but as you Grandmaster certain ones, it locks you out of getting other higher level tiers in other aspects of the 3 categories. So I've been mainly focusing on gathering as a profession line, but I have been dabbling with animal husbandry a lot. It's something that I just didn't think I was going to do, but then I saw all the cool mounts and people making these mounts, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I decided to go the animal husbandry route as well. But as I said, gathering fits in with processing. So gathering in this case is hunting. You got to go out and gather the animals to be able to process them into mounts, right? So these kind of overlap. So one thing that I have been learning is you do have to kind of know more or less, I think, come launch, which things you would like to grandmaster, and then understanding how the subcategories of either processing or crafting or gathering would fit into that, right? So if I want to grandmaster animal husbandry, right, in its current state, we would have to first, grandmaster animal husbandry, and I could make any mount, let's say, that's available in the game if you could. But the subcategory to that would be hunting. I would have to level hunting up to a certain point, or what would be allowed in that case, which I think I could get to. I think I can do two specializations to Grandmaster, if I remember correctly. So you could Grandmaster Animal Husbandry and you could Grandmaster Hunting, and then you're this Master Hunter, animal creator, breeder type person, right? You can do all the best hunting, get all the best animals that you possibly can hunt, and then you can turn them into mounts or beasts of burdens and do the all of them, all the best ones. This is something that has been on my plate to test, as far as mining and lumberjacking and herbalism, right? These all fit into certain categories. And there was a graphic somewhere that I saw that somebody did, where all the professions kind of tie into each other. And it was a good visualization of how rich and deep the professions are getting. It's easy to say that, it's hard and clunky right now. Yes, in current state, it is a little clunky around professions and crafting and things like that. But Steven, in a couple of interviews that he's done, has said that there is a professions revamp coming. It's just further down the pipeline a little bit, as we know that Rogue is currently being tested in the PTR. So, today is the first day after this last 5-day testing period. I am hoping that maybe we get some good news and maybe Rogue makes it into the next 5-day testing here in a couple of days. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think it's going to take at least one more week, just based off of people's feedback that I've been hearing on the forums or in Discord, or just people that I've talked to. I don't have PTR access, so I don't know the current state of Rogue, but a lot of folks are saying that it needs to get iterated, that it's, either overpowered, it's junk, it's this or that, right? So that was the last update I heard from, a group of people that are able to test. So, hopefully this coming up testing phase, or these next coming up testing days, it'll be out. But if not, I'm looking towards the end or beginning of next month for Rogue to be live for all of us to experience. That obviously is the next big thing that's going to happen. And then shortly thereafter, I think, is when the professions buff or professions update comes from there. And then that would lead us to then the next big content that we know is going to happen, which is the deserts are going to get another update, and it will be their final update according to Steven. So with this next update that comes for the desert biomes, they will make them complete to what they want them to be in Alpha 2, right? So right now we have the Riverlands is complete, and I use air quotations for that, for Alpha 2 purposes. The deserts have been introduced slowly, as well as the tropics, but the deserts are getting more love than the tropics are currently, and that is the plan of Intrepid. Steven said so, that they're going to work on the deserts and then they're going to work on the tropics. And the reason for that is the desert assets were more feature complete on the back end for the team than the tropics were during their busy time here during Alpha 2 testing. The desert started off very bland. There was a lot of drama around Phase 2 launch and the current state of deserts and the tropics and things that were missing or not missing. You guys have, if you've been following Ashes of Creation and the content creators, you guys know all that drama, right? as the updates have gone live, there's been more and more added to the desert. And I find myself spending a majority of my time on my main character in the desert. And the reason for that is that is where all of these new unique mounts are, like the Day Striders, the Flail Runners, Komodos, Crocs, all sorts of stuff is in the desert. It's a high priority item for people. It's a hot commodity. I think this last weekend I made 150 gold gross in animal husbandry and making mounts and things like that. We did have an event going on, a caravan event, so that did boost my gold, so to speak, my bank. But that's not the norm, right? I normally don't make 150 gold just from selling mounts. It is a very lucrative thing currently in the game and in the server. Is making mounts is definitely a very steady source of income. However, like I said, 150 gross gold does not translate to 150 gold in my bank. Training these mounts, gathering these mounts, buying, the foods and buffs and the clothes for all of this definitely have taken their toll on my bank. So, like I said, 150 gold is not a very accurate number to what I have in my bank account. Other than that, it's been just grinding, not even levels, but just grinding for better gear. That is my biggest thing, I think, as far as feedback, is gear drops seem to have been adjusted or somehow played with to where it seems like getting gear now is very, very difficult, or at least getting upgraded gear. And that's twofold. I think it depends on your party and the composition of your party and the efficiency of the party, and then maybe an adjustment on the back end by Intrepid. But as I said, when they launch this newest professions update, there is supposed to be a little bit of a buff to crafted items. So they're trying to make it where crafting means more than grinding gear, which is currently, I think, missing in the current state of Alpha 2. Other than that, guys, I'm going to end it here because it's a little bit of a long video to bring you guys back in on. Overall, I'm enjoying Alpha 2 testing. Yes, there are some growing pains. Yes, there are things that I would like to see improved, and bugs and performance and optimization that needs to be done that's, maybe been lingering since phase 1 of Alpha 2. But as we are marching closer and closer to May of this year and phase 3, the game is slowly coming together. And again, I think slowly is the key word there. I think one thing that I have to learn personally, or that I've learned, is patience is key in this early development stages. Yeah, that's not a popular opinion or a popular sentiment, right? But it is unfortunately where we are with the current state of Ashes of Creation. But overall, I'm enjoying my time. There are things that need to get improved. I'm giving feedback and things like that. As always, guys, I appreciate you for being here, and we'll see you on the next one.